just measured using a wax carbon paper or tracing paper, whatever you want to call it. Old school, so we used to call it carbon paper, but it's wax. And you just place your ruler along the dot lines. So I'm using the third one in, follow the lines across and mark them. You double over the wax paper so that you've got wax imprinted on both sides. So it's a case of lay your wax paper with the wax side down. If you're going to place it on both, fold your wax paper over, and then just make sure everything's lined up so that sits nicely underneath. Grab your ruler, grab the tracing wheel with the wax, and just follow those lines. And don't worry about going over. There we go, that one. And don't worry about going over, because where the lines cross, you can, I'll show you. So where those lines have crossed is where you want to have the point there. If you don't have carbon paper, I've only done the top bit. If you don't have carbon paper, let me show you what else you could do. That's the front side. We actually want it on the back side, don't we? So this is the back. So place pins, the points at which the dart sort of crosses over, like that, and then gently pull on the tracing paper and mark. Find where the pins are. Make sure there they are. And there. Okay. And then grab your ruler and whatever you're marking with, so you might not be marking with a pencil. Okay. There you go. So the way to make this dart is you want this to be sort of graded round. You don't want it too pointy. Pinch that so that it sits on a fold. So grab the two dots, the end dots there, like that. Pinch those so they're on the fold. Get those pins back that we had before, and I'm going to pin that there. Grab the other pins, pin that there, and then find the point at which these meet. So put it through the point of that one, and then pin that down. Just go along that line. Make sure you get the line underneath. Just check that it sits on the line underneath. And it should be. There we go, pretty accurate that. I'm not going to lie. Okay, so there's the dart. What I'm going to do is just get rid of these pins because we don't actually need the pins anymore. And leave a long thread there because we're going to tie the knot at the... We're going to tie a knot at either end of the dart. We're not going to do any back stitching. Back stitching causes bulk and unnecessary... you'll be able to see it basically. So pop the pin, or rather the needle, right at the dot, right on the fold. So you're barely catching the fabric, but just about catching it. So we've got a nice long thread. Okay, this is why you use a contrasting colour, because you don't want to mix your threads up with the basting thread. Pop that down. No lock stitching. I'm on 2.5. My stitch length is at 2.5, and let's just go. Now it's tricky to do because you're very close to the edge, and because I'm using a walking foot makes it a bit trickier as well. Okay, so as we come to the end, we're going to aim to be at the dot right on the edge of the fabric, so we're barely catching any of the fabric. And I'll just do that last one there, and I want a nice long thread. Now, because I've not lock stitched it, I'm going to grab the fabric and grab the thread so I don't pull on it. Lift the press foot up and pull. Should come out nice and easy. And there we go. I'm not taking the basting out just yet, just in case anything goes wrong. If you've not stitched it right, you can unpick your sewing and redo. Don't unpick the basting until you're quite sure you're ready to. Unfortunately, I can't see the end of the dart because I've got the basting in the way. So let me remove the basting. There we go. To be able to see whether I did a good job or not, I need to just go and press that. So, but you can almost see that it's done well, because that fabric should sit nice and almost flat, as if nothing happened, as if we've not taken any of that fabric in at any sort of pinch. Let me go and press that and show you a clearer result. When you do darts, when you sew darts onto a shirt or a dress, you want to sew or press the darts towards the centre front or the centre back. So the centre front is where the buttons are, aren't they? So we want to press that towards the centre front. Now you can use a ham for this because we've got a curve, and it might be a best idea. There you go. And again, if you're worried about press marks, use a pressing cloth. This is calico, and also I'm demonstrating to you, so it's a case of I want you to be able to see what I'm doing. It's not going to sit perfectly flat, but that's the whole point. You don't want it to sit flat. It's going around the contours of a body. So there we go, a nice dart. Okay, when you do the other darts, make sure they finish and start at the same point. So lay them together and compare them and make sure they finish and start at the same point, and the peak in the middle is at the same point. Don't worry if you're not exactly right with the dart. If you're a couple of millimetres out, it's not going to matter. Now, typically, when you're making any sort of garment, you always start with the top. So you do all your little bits and bobs, like your darts and your finishes. And then what you do is you join the top shoulders and then work around. So we've got plackets there. Oh, that's unsightly.